Hi, this is Gabriel Mann. Welcome to Unscripted. I'm here with Wim Wenders, and we're going to interview each other with some of your questions, some of our own questions, and I suppose I'll start with the first question. What does your movie Don't Come Knocking say about the modern male?
You see, I was more interested what it's going to say about girls. Because the two men in the movie, father and son, I mean, they're a little helpless. They meet, they beat each other up, you know. And if it wasn't for the girls in the movie, they'd still be hitting each other.
They'd be pulling out the guns at a certain point.
But that says something about the modern males. The ability of conflict is less developed than girls. I think girls deal better with conflict. Don't you think?
Do you think?
I think. No.
Well, I'd say maybe women sort of deal with conflict and because they can't use their fists. They learned how to do it verbally. Is that a better thing?
Verbally is good.
You think verbally is better than
verbally is civilized,
as opposed to
just. I mean, you meet your father, first thing you have him by the neck.
Oh yeah, I guess that's right. Yeah, no, that's true. I suppose I can't argue with you. I think maybe you're right.
When I called you back for the third time over 3 years of casting, did you think you'd ever get that part?
I think maybe it was the first time that I came to meet you. Yeah. I've been a fan for such a long time. I didn't know if it'd go any further. Do you remember I brought your book of photographs and I asked you?
It was embarrassing, exactly.
It was embarrassing. I asked Wim to autograph my book of his photographs because I didn't know if I'd ever see you again. I thought maybe that'd be my only chance. And
a year later, I called you back.
And you called me back.
Another year later, we still hadn't made the movie. I called you back.
Yeah, and you called me back again. I was sort of aware of some of my competition, so I didn't allow myself to get too excited.
We're not going to drop some names here?
Shall I drop? No, I'm not going to drop some names.
But I never regretted my decision. And you know what? When I really knew I'd done the right thing, and I wonder how you felt. Because we shoved you in this recording studio, and I don't think you ever sung before, right?
No.
Have you ever been in front? No, never.
No, never.
Sung in front of anybody? Karaoke or something?
When I was 12 in 6th grade school play.
So what did you think in that booth with a microphone and headphones with the music, and then we said sing?
Well, all the time that you guys had set up for me with T-Bone prior to that was probably invaluable, I think, because I got very comfortable with the idea of the music, and with T-Bone, I was very intimidated at first.
Had you rehearsed at home?
Oh yeah, almost every day. I mean, but I think if anything, it was just finding the right tone for the vocal performance. And I mean, I didn't know if you guys would like it or not. How did you figure? I mean, when did you figure out it was going to be okay?
I was scared shitless because I was sitting in the control room, and if you weren't going to do it well, what was I going to do?
I was going to get the axe, man. I was going to get
you were already hired.
Oh, I was hired.
I knew I wanted to make the movie with you, but I didn't know if you could sing.
Yeah. So how long did it take you to figure out that it was going to work?
2 lines, and then T-Bone looked over and just gave me a thumbs up, and then I knew we were in business.
At what point did Tim come onto the movie? Because that was a character, Tim Roth, that sort of seemed to be changing and fluctuating throughout the course of...
He's the only one who's not part of the family. Everybody else is family. Sam and Jessica is his old love, and then there's his mother, and there's the kids and stuff. Everybody's family. And the part of Sutter was the only outsider, total outsider. He didn't know anybody. He just had to... He was a bounty hunter. He just has to get Howard and get him back to the movie set. So, as an outsider, I could almost cast anybody. He didn't have to fit in, you see. And we had casted somebody, and then we had to push the film, as you remember, and that went down the drain, and out of a sudden, I had to recast. And pretty short notice. And then we took the opposite. We went for an Englishman, and I thought, and Tim gave me the choice. He said, I can do it in American, I could do it in English. I thought, it'd be great, this bounty hunter in the American West, a fish out of water. He's dressed totally wrong. He drives the wrong car, and but he gets the job done.
Would you ever make a film with a $50 million budget in the studio system?
No. It's a different profession. I could have done some of them. I did one film inside the studio system 25 years ago, and it took me 4 years, and I was very stubborn, and I wanted to finish it, and I did finish it, and I even remained friends with the producer, and that was Francis Ford Coppola, and it was, at the time, it was Zoetrope Studios, and for Orion and stuff. But that was the only film I ever did in a studio inside the system as a hired director, and everything afterwards I produced myself, and I rejected lots of offers for big movies because it's not my profession. I'm not that kind of guy. I want to be able to tell exactly what I want to tell. I want to cast my people, and I want to edit myself, and I don't even want to discuss final cut, you see. I mean, sometimes you get offers and they say, well, we give you a final cut, but we want to consult.
Right.
So, and that consultation ends up in being, they're messing things up anyway.
Well, the consultation.
But it's just a different proposition. I love some of my best friends do movies in the studio system, and they're doing well, and they're great filmmakers, and I see all these films, and some of them are great movies, but it's a slightly different profession. I'm too much of an independent guy.
Last one for Wim.
The 3 things I love about movies.
Yeah.
Hey, that's a good one. The 3 things I love best is, the first thing is to look around for places where to shoot, because most of my movies start with the place and the idea of discovering a place and finding a story that fits or that comes from the place. And then I love the editing. I really love to cut things out. Or put it in. Mm-hmm. And the third thing I love best is really to show it to audiences. I'm always scared when it's critics and stuff, and of course it's part of it that you have to show it to a lot of critics and stuff and talk with them. But my favorite thing really is when people see it and when it exists in people's heads, because a movie doesn't exist if it's on the shelf, or even if there's a print, it doesn't exist. It only exists when somebody comes and sees it.
So,
and yourself?
Yeah, the 3 things I love about movies, when you get the call that you have the job, that would be 1. Number 2 is when you actually sign the contract, because you never know until the contract's signed if you're actually going to be on the set. And number 3 is great popcorn. If the theaters now, they just don't have good popcorn anymore, but the good stuff, with the real butter on it, you can smell it through the whole place. I love the popcorn, and I don't know, I'm a big sauerkraut fan myself, so if you can actually get a hot dog and sometimes a sauerkraut.
Do you take your popcorn salted or sugared?
No, you know what I do? I get butter on it, and then I get Kit Kats, which I break up into the popcorn with the salt.
But that sticks to your teeth. Kit Kats.
Yeah, but nobody knows if you're sitting in the dark in the theater, unless you're on a date, and then you don't order the popcorn and Kit Kats.
Because then you have greasy fingers. That's not good if you have a date. It
never works out very well, no. So, yeah, how about greaseless butter for popcorn so we can actually eat it on dates? That'd be good. That's it.
That's a great suggestion we have at the end of this talk. Thank you, Moviefone. You've been watching Gabriel Mann and Wim Wenders in some loose talk.
Some very, very loose talk. Goodbye. See ya. Thanks, guys.